Manx Radio Sport.
Good evening then, welcome to Saturday Sport Classified for Saturday the 14th of September. Simon Quine with you through until 6 o'clock this evening, bringing you the latest in football, rugby and hockey here on the Isle of Man. Tony Mepham is joining me in the studio. We'll look at results from all four men's divisions today. We've also got three rugby fixtures to catch up with Dave Christian on, and of course hockey across the mixed leagues. Ben Cunningham joining us to look at that in more detail. Also in around about half an hour we'll be joining Rob Pritchard live at the Bowl for team news from FC Isle of Man's game this evening as they take on Cheadle Town. Kick off at 6 o'clock, and of course full match commentary to follow us here on Manx Radio's AM 1368 and Manx Radio AM on DAB. But at 3.5 minutes after 5, let's start with the classified results for today, and we begin in Canada Life Men's Premier League. Moran 0, Rushen 4, St John's United 6, Foxdale 4, Ramsey 2, Union Mills 3, Laxey 4, Corinthians 1, Onken 0, Peel 5, Ayr United 4, St George's 1. In Arden and Druggan Limited Division 2, Douglas and District 2, Castletown 5, Pulrose United 2, Michael United 6, Douglas Royal 3, Braddon 2, and Douglas High School Old Boys 8, Maloo 3. Canada Life Combination 1, Rushen United 1, Moran 0, Foxdale 2, St John's United 3, Union Mills 1, Ramsey 4, Corinthians 4, Laxey 1, Peel 1, Onken 3, and we're awaiting a result from St George's against Ayr United if you've got that 166 177. Arden and Druggan Limited Combination 2, Douglas Athletic against Ramsey Youth Centre Old Boys. Again, we're awaiting that result. Once more, 166 177 or 07624 166 177 on WhatsApp. Castletown 2, Douglas and District 6. Michael United against Pulrose United, again awaiting a result on that. Braddon 4, Douglas Royal 2, and Jims 0, Governors Athletic 3. If you can help us fill in any of the details on those missing results, 166 177, it'd be much appreciated. Moving on to rugby, Regional 2 Northwest finished Douglas 13, Widnes 15. And in Counties 3, ADM, Langston, Cheshire, it was Orrell 25, Vagabonds 20. There was also a friendly today. We're awaiting details on that friendly between Douglas Celts and Western Vikings. Hopefully Dave Christian will have more details for us a little bit later in the programme. And moving on to hockey, Mixed Premier League, Harlequins A 1, Castletown Celts 2, Valkyries B 1, Backers A 10, Valkyries A 5, Backers B 1, Vikings B 0, Vikings A 6. Mixed Division 1, Vikings C 7, Vikings D 3. Backers C 4, Ramsey A 2. Castletown Southerners 0, Valkyries C 1. And in Mixed Division 2, Backers Colts 9, Ramsey Ravens 1. Harlequins B 4, Castletown Camags 0. Castletown Cushags 7, Valkyries D 2. And Mixed Division 3, Vikings E 6, Backers D 1, Castletown Cosney 5, Harlequins C 1, Castletown Carrick 0, Backers Bucks 4, and in the Mixed Under-15s League, Ramsey 1, Valkyries 11. We're awaiting results from the two late pushbacks in that league, which are Castletown Sabres against Backers and Harlequins against Vikings. Ben Cunningham might have those details a little bit later on in the programme for us. But we continue with football, and Tony Mepham joins me in the studio. Tony, and again, we'll start off with the game you were at for us this afternoon. And Onken had a strong start to the season, but not strong enough for Peel today.
No, they weren't strong enough, but they gave a good account of themselves, certainly in the first few minutes, Simon, because they hit the bar. And I just thought, wow, what's going to happen here? But certainly once Peel settled down, they started to push forward, and it was the fourth minute, I think it was, where Thomas Brown did some good work through the middle, Rhys Oates as well. And anyway, the ball was floated in from the right-hand side, and Ben Woodridge, left-hand side player, came in and managed to squeeze it past the keeper to make it 1-0. That was after 4. Then 32 minutes, it was Thomas Brown with the second of the game, and again ball played into him, and Thomas doesn't need much room to squeeze the ball past the goalkeeper, and that's what he did, and it just sort of settled the nerves a little bit. But Peel weren't at their best, that's for sure. And then 42 minutes, was probably the turning point of the game. Josh Kenyick got a second booking, which meant he got a red card and was sent off. So Onchan were down to 10, and then 3 minutes later it was Aaron Costain scored from a header, corner sent in, and 3-0 it was at half time. So second half you expected certainly Onchan to struggle a little bit, and Onchan didn't really do that because they defended really well. The goalkeeper, I think it was Troy Parker, who actually is an outfield player, played in goal today because the keeper wasn't available. He had a great game in the second half and pulled off some really good saves, but the fourth one went in, Thomas Brown it was, straight from a corner, and then the fifth one, Dan Pickering, the second half substitute, made it 5-0. So 5-0 result at the end. I think Peel will look at it, wasn't the greatest of performances, but it doesn't matter. 5-0's a convincing win, and Onchan will be smart in that sending off after 42 minutes.
Okay, in the game, Rob Pritchard was up for us this afternoon. Good win for Russian, running out 4-0 winners against Mepham. Yeah,
it certainly was, and Russian had to be patient a little bit, I think, on this one because they got the first goal after 21 minutes, and they just went then a little bit better. We'll bring a match report in in a minute, but Lockie Denham it was who got the second after 54. So Rob's report says closely fought first half, as we've just touched on, with a few clear chances. But Jamie Cadwallader's deflected finish from a tight angle on 25 minutes was the difference at half-time. 2 goals in 6 minutes in the second half saw Lockie Denham score on an unmarked volley from 6 yards on 52 minutes before Matty Lamb scored a deft free kick from 25 yards into the top corner. Cadwallader was the provider for Russians' fourth with less than 5 minutes left, feeding Joe Kelly, who finished low into the corner. Despite the scoreline, Moran had numerous chances of their own, and had it not been for some fine saves from Russians, Mark Blair, evergreen Mark Blair, particularly in the second half, it could have been a different story. Russians' first win of the season and a fourth defeat for Moran. Thanks, Rob.
Okay, moving on to what sounds like a right ding-dong for St John's and Foxdale this afternoon. We were talking last week about Foxdale's good start to the season, again in goal-scoring form, but St John's coming out on top, scoring 6.
Yeah, that's a super result, and they're not far away from each other, are they? But, St John's got it right today, and Callum Taggart, who's had a great start to the season, to be fair. I've seen him a couple of games, and he's played really well. He got a hat-trick, Dean Lease got 1, and Jamie Cook got 2 goals for St John's. Haven't got Foxdale's goal scorers, but if you score 4, you would have expected to win the game, but certainly St John's defence today a little bit sort of open for Foxdale, but certainly Foxdale defence struggled a little bit. But good 3 points for St John's, and that puts St John's now on 6 points, so out of that sort of bottom part of the table, but still work to do for them, but good start today.
And Union Mills made to work hard for the 3 points at Ramsey today.
They certainly did, but to be fair, Union Mills were 2 of their star players, Mr Tyler Hughes and Luke Booth, who played for FCIOM Man tonight, and I think that's a tremendous result, and the responsibility was put on new signing Dominic McCarry-Brennan. He scored them all. He was a substitute last week, but he's proved a point to manager Ryan Kelly today. Play me and I'll score your goals, and he's done a good job against the top side in Ramsey. Trying to get Ramsey scorers if we can. 166, 177, but a cracking 3 points for Union Mills.
Laxey 4, Corinthians 1 is probably the result of the day, I'd say, in this division.
Yeah, definitely. And when you look this morning, Laxey were in 10th place. Corinthians were top, undefeated, played 3, won 3. But today they didn't even score a goal, because even though it was Laxey 4, Corinthians 1, it was an own goal for Corinthians. But for Laxey, Matty Ogden, Tommy Kenny got 1, Jack Keelan and Aaron Bradley scored 1 from the penalty spot. So poor day in the office, I believe, by Corinthians, and well done to Laxey. That's a better performance, and Johnny Palmer will be happy with that.
I got a text in earlier on as well to say that a wonderful display from the Corinthians goalkeeper to keep the score down as well. Yeah,
I don't know who's in goal today. I think it'll be Matthew Quirk. Quirk is back on fire, and he couldn't play last week due to a wedding, but back in today, and by the sound of it, could have been a lot more.
Okay, Ayr United 4, St George's 1.
Yeah, and it was Chris Duggan who got 1 for Ayr United. Phil Donegan got a goal. Sean Kelly and Jed Fisher. Connor Hislop got the goal for St George's. And a bit of a note on this one, that Joe Gartland, who plays for St George's, possibly fractured ankle, so that sounds a little bit sore. But poor performance by St George in the first 45, but in the second half they played a lot better and were unfortunate not to get maybe another goal or so. But Ayr United keep the pressure on at the top of the table. Yes, they're 3 points behind Peel, but they do have a game in hand.
In Division 2, Arden and Druggan Division 2, Douglas and District have started the day bottom. Didn't get much better for them today. 5-2 was the result. Castletown coming out on top. Yeah,
and it was 3-0 to Castletown at half-time, and Tom Collister got a goal, Nathan Cardy, Ash Egan, and it doesn't help when you score 2 own goals as well, so that's probably the difference in the game. It was Adrian Scarabuccia who got 2 goals for Douglas and District, so a better second-half performance.
Okay, Pulrose 2, Michael United 6. Again, Michael continuing pretty good form.
Yeah, they are good form, and 13 in the last game, and certainly today scoring plenty of goals. Haven't got the scorers. If you could text us through, please. 166177. 3-1 to Michael at half time, and for Pulrose, Nick Holden got one after 26 minutes. He got the second one, I think, in the second half, and it finished up Michael 6, Pulrose 2.
I've got the scorers just coming here, actually, Tony. It was 2 hat-tricks, Kieran Lane with 3 and Liam Kane with 3.
Yeah, I thought Liam might be there somewhere and banging the goals in for fun again. So well done to Kieran and well done to Liam, hat-trick each.
Braddon started the day top, but surprise result here. Douglas Royal picking up their first win of the season, 3-2.
Yeah, and if you look at the league table there, Simon, it's 10th place. Douglas Royal were in this morning and played 2 games and lost them both. But certainly this afternoon, they're absolutely fantastic. Braddon, 2 goals for Joe Burrows, but for Douglas Royal, Dom Smith got 1, Callum Clegg got a goal, and Simon Dooley, I think it was, who got the winner. So well done, Simon. Cracking 3 points out for Royal.
Douglas High School Old Boys were second at the start of the day. They were taking on Maloo, and again, free scoring form there. 8-3 was the final score. Yeah,
they're still second as well, because even though Braddon lost that game, the goal difference is quite big for Braddon. They've caught up a little bit, Old Boys, because they get +5 on that. But George Kearns with a hat-trick today. Jacob Stone's got 3 goals as well. Danny Corran got 1 and an own goal. And what makes it even more impressive for Douglas High School Old Boys is that they had a player sent off halfway through the second half, but Maloo can break him down. Haven't got Maloo scorers.
Okay. Canada Life Combination 1, Russian 1, Moran 0.
Yeah, and it was Andrew Hughes who scored for Russian after 31 minutes of fair play to Russian. Russian said it was a really close game, so good battling performance by Moran, but couldn't get anyone on the score sheet. And it's that sole goal by Andrew Hughes that takes the 3 points to Russian.
Foxdale still looking for their first win of the season in Combi 1. Didn't come today. St John's United coming out on top 3-2.
Yeah, and expected, I think, because St John's, when you look at them, 4th in the league, played 3 for 6 points now. They've played 4, I think it is, for 9. Haven't got the goal scorers for St John's or Foxdale, but as you say, Foxdale 2, St John's 3.
Very tight at the top at the start of the day in Combination 1. 4 teams on 9 points. One of those was Ramsey, who continued that winning form with a 4-1 win over Union Mills.
Yeah, and it was Sid Cowan, I think it was, for Union Mills, who got the goal. And I've just sent a text out to Ramsey, so if you can get it through to us, please, we'll give the boys a mention. But haven't got the Ramsey's 4 goal scorers.
Okay, Corinthians 4, Laxey 1, an exact reverse, actually, of the Premier League result.
It is. When I saw that, Simon, I thought to myself, we've got this round wrong here. But then I checked on the goal scorers and I got it right. Caleb Hugill got 2 goals. He's a cracking goal scorer, good centre forward. And Oscar Watterson as well, playing 2. And I better sort this argument out, because Oscar plays for Corinthians and his brother Lucas played for Onken. Lucas had a really good game, Oscar, but you've scored 2 goals, so I think I'll give you the advantage on him, so you can have the bragging rights.
And speaking of Onken in Combi 1, there Onken 3, Peel 1.
Yeah, and Onken remained top of the table. It's amazing, isn't it, how it goes? And it was George Butler who got 1, George Corran got a goal for Onken, and Jackson Gatt got the other one. I haven't got the Peel goal scorer through yet.
Okay, I mentioned as well we were missing a result in St George's against Ayr. That was, of course, postponed, wasn't it, earlier this morning?
Yeah, I've just heard that now, so I'm not too sure what happened there.
Okay, Combi 2, we still haven't got scorers or indeed a result for Douglas Athletic against Ramsey Youth Centre or Michael United against Pulrose United, but we do have a result for Castletown against Douglas and District, D&D 6-2 winners.
Yeah, it was, and it was Dom Quirk with 2 goals, but the star of the show was Shane McCormick. He got 4 of the goals for D&D. Pete O'Brien got 1 for Castletown, and Ben Shaw got the other.
Okay, and just turning over the page, and Braddon 4, Douglas Royal 2. Again, Braddon going well so far this season in Comedy.
They're going well. Haven't got the scorers. If you could, please send them through to us. But for Douglas Royal, it was Brian Ring and Kevin Ballard.
Okay, and final game, they're next to each other in the table at the start of things this morning. Governors Athletic 3, Gyms 0.
And it was Mackenzie Parker with 2 of the goals for Governors Athletic, and Joe Stewart got the other one.
Okay, Tony, thank you very much. Are you making a dart down to the bowl for this evening's game now?
I'll go and see if Rob's got me a cup of tea.
All right, Tony Mepham, thank you very much. We'll be joining Rob Pritchard very shortly. Team news coming up for that game between FC Isle of Man and Cheadle Town this evening.
Manx Radio Sport.
But before we talk more football, let's join Dave Christian and have a look at the action in today's rugby. Good evening, Dave.
Yeah, good evening, Simon. I can clear up this morning's friendly before I get onto the results. It was supposed to be Douglas Casuals against Western Vikings. That game was sadly postponed this morning, so we won't have a result for that. In terms of the two Manx sides playing in the English Clubs Championships, not good news, I'm afraid. 2 defeats. Douglas were beaten 13-15 at home by Widnes, and Orrell beat Vagabonds at Orrell 25 points to 20. For Douglas, it's the second week running that they've had a second half capitulation from a promising half-time position. Last week they were 7-0 down, but on top of the game away. This week they were 13-3 up front. In front at half-time in their Regional 2 Northwest game with Widnes at Portachee, and Widnes put in a sterling second half to take the honours. Douglas dominated pretty much every department in the first half. We were there to cover that one for Saturday Live, and it was no surprise when Ralph Clark crashed in for the opening score just after the 15-minute mark. The Widnes defence was, however, pretty tough, and it took another quarter of an hour for Douglas's second to arrive, and it did in the form of standoff Josh Duncan, who ghosted his way through a gap and was able to get a touchdown unmolested. Lucas Simmons added a penalty to make it 13-3, but Widnes hit back just before half-time. In fact, it was the final kick of the first half with a Josh Salter penalty to leave it 13-3. In the second half, Widnes started much quicker and much better than Douglas. Jack Krauser had a big run down the right wing. He just didn't quite get the final pass to go to hand. And Josh Salter missed a penalty with 5 minutes gone in the second half. 15 minutes in, though, Widnes finally cracked the defence. They were playing what in rugby union terms is known as a pick-and-go game. It's not very exciting to watch. The ball doesn't flow. There aren't passes and great lines of running. It's just big forwards picking it up, making 2 meters, hitting the ground, and then repeat and repeat and repeat. And that format seemed to work for them, and it was prop forward Dan Rourke who went over from close range. Josh Salter converted that one, and it was 13-10, a 3-point game. Just before the half-hour mark, Douglas picked up a yellow card. Connor Garland was the miscreant. It was a high tackle, and he got his marching orders, 10 minutes in the sin bin. And Widnes struck almost immediately down the right wing through replacement Jack Gilhooly. That put them 13-15 in front. In the closing stages of the game, Douglas had a chance to win it. Widnes picked up a red card for back row Mike Jones, and that again was a dangerous tackle. And in stoppage time at the end of the game, 23 metres out from the posts, just to the right-hand side, Sam McCord with the penalty chance for them, and his shot drifted just wide, and that's very, very disappointing for Douglas. Yes, they picked up a losing bonus point, but 2 from 2 is not good reading for them, particularly when at half-time in both of those games they were in promising positions. Vagabonds away at Orrell was a slightly different story. They had a sniff of a win. They were leading by just a point with 20 minutes left to play, but in the closing stages, Orrell clawed their way back to win 25-20. It was 2 Cameron Findlay penalties that gave Vaggers an early 6-0 lead before tries from Orrell's James Glover and Max Huxley, both converted by Craig Thomas, saw Orrell go ahead. Cal Donnell picked up a try for Vaggers just before half-time, and that was converted by Finlay, and at half-time there was just a point difference with Orrell leading 14-13. In the second half, Cam Finley went over for a try, which he converted himself, and that put Vagabonds 20 points to 14 in front before the oral fight back started. And in the closing 20 minutes, it was a try from Callum Forshaw that closed the gap to a point, and then 2 Craig Thomas penalties were enough to make the game safe for Oral. Vagabonds will get a losing bonus point. They're not going to be happy with that, though. They were almost there, almost over the line, and just didn't quite finish it. And if you remember back to last week, their opening game against Ormskirk, they were actually 8-5 in front at half-time there before losing out. So both Isle of Man sides in the club championship not quite going so well, and it's the second half that's letting them down. I suspect we'll see both improve as the season progresses, but today, not good reading for the Isle of Man.
Dave Christian, thank you very much there with all the action from today's rugby.
Manx Radio Sport.
23 minutes after 5 o'clock on Manx Radio Sports Classified, and having done football and rugby, let's turn to hockey, and Ben Cunningham joins us from further afield. Good afternoon, Ben.
Yes, good afternoon, Simon, live from Staffordshire. So hope the weather's just as nice as it is here.
I was going to say sunny Staffordshire, you were calling it earlier on.
Yeah, sunny Staffordshire today.
OK, then let's start off then in mixed Premier League with a Harlequins A, Castletown Celts 2.
Yeah, really close game. I had this down as game of the day, and it has lived up to its expectations. For Castletown, it was Helena Allen and George Powell. And for Harlequins, it was George Ratcliffe, but really close game, and could have gone either way.
OK, high-scoring game between Valkyries B and Backers A. Backers A coming out with a resounding victory, 10-1.
Yeah, Backers A really showing their true power and momentum in this game today, getting 10 goals over Valkyries B, who only just lost 1-0 last weekend to their A team. For Backers A, it was Jamie Brown with 1, Andy Whiting with 3. Elliot Reid with 2, Louise Corkill with 1, Isabella Craig with 1, and Callum Robb with 1. And then the consolation for Valkyries B was Ethan Adams.
And in pretty much a reverse of that game, Valkyries A against Backers B, with the Valkyries side coming out on top 5-1 winners.
Yeah, Valkyries A keeping up their 100% record as current champions, and they'll be wanting to make sure that they do keep that up. Alex Freer with a penalty flick, Oscar Lace with 2, Ollie Webster and John Grove Jackson for Valkyries, and then Backers B consolation was Luca Pilato.
And a Vikings derby to round off the mixed Premier League, with the A team coming out 6-0 winners.
Yeah, last weekend it was the Castletown derbies. This weekend it's the Vikings derbies. Kim Carney with 3, Tom Burrows with 1, Alex Andrews with 1, and Sarah Blackman with 1, and the A team getting 1 over the B team.
And you touched on it in the last result there, Ben. The front runners all keeping their 100% record so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Vikings A, Valkyries A, and Backers A still keep their 100% records, as do Castletown Celts. So things looking really tasty at the top of the league at the moment.
OK, and we move on to mixed Division 1, where you didn't have the greatest of predictions this week in this league.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I've predicted all 3 matches wrong today, so don't ask me for the lottery numbers tonight.
Well, let's not dwell on that too much, and let's just we'll deal with the results that we've got, which is another Vikings derby. The C team coming out winners over the D team 7-3.
Yeah, and as I touched with Rob last night in the preview, Vikings D last year did overcome their C team, but this time around the C team have got things turned back right around, and got 7 goals past their D team today. It was Ben Dougal with 2, Josh Dougal with 2, Josh Knights with 2, and Ellie Harrison with 1 for the C team. And then for the D team, it was Ian Perry with 2 and Andy Harding with 1.
OK, Backers C4, Ramsey A2.
Yeah, a big shock here after Ramsey getting 8 goals last weekend to be on the receiving end of a 4-2 loss. Was a real shock when the score come in. I did have Ramsey down as favourites for this game, but Backers have really proved themselves today. Craig Leese with 2 and Alex Stewart with 2 for Backers C. And then for Ramsey, it was Tom Howard with 1 and Aaron Bell with 1.
And in the final game in Mixed Division 1, it was Valkyries C only just getting one one goal different in this 1-0 winners against Castletown Southerners.
Yeah, and this is a real big shock because if we remember back to last weekend, Castletown Southerners came out 11-1 winners last weekend. So massive blow for Castletown this weekend, losing just by the one goal, and that goal came from Chris Thomas. But yeah, this massively opens this league up now, with both Ramsey 8 and Castletown Southerners winning comprehensively last weekend, now losing this weekend.
Mixed Division 2 then, again a convincing win for Bacchus Colts against Ramsey Ravens. 9-1 was the final score.
Yeah, good win for Bacchus Colts there. They keep their 100% record going. George Lease with 4, Sophie Partons with 3. I've been told to say that was her showing her dad how to score, so I apologise. I apologise for having to read that one out on air. And Ollie Christian and Abby Maddox, all with goals each for Bacchus Colts. And the consolation from Ramsey Ravens was Dan Cross.
Okay, Harlequins B were in action against Castletown Camags. They came out 4-0 winners.
Yeah, 4-0 win for Harlequins B, and a nice good clean sheet there for the Harlequins B goalkeeper. And captain Russ Ward, he'll be very happy with that. Tom Hurd with 2, Sam Clegg with 1, and Gemma Quayle with 1.
And Castletown Cushag 7, Valkyries D 2.
And it's the Kelly family that really have hit the headlines today for Castletown Cushags. Danny Kelly with 2, Paul Kelly with 1, Becca Kelly with 1 on her birthday, so happy birthday there, Becca Kelly. Connie Sellers, Zach Hughes, and Chris Steriopoulos with goals each. And then for Valkyries D, it was Ruby Buchanan and Mike Fowles. Okay. But yeah, the Kelly family making the headlines in that game.
Mixed Division 3, Vikings E6, Bacchus D1.
Yeah, really good win there for Vikings E over Bacchus D. For Bacchus D, it was Neil Brew with a goal. And then for Vikings E, it was Harry Woods, Kieran Stevens, Emily Gaylor, and Jacob Harden with 3 goals.
And Castletown Cosney 5, Harlequin C 1 is the second result in Division 3.
Yeah, Bobby Corran for Harlequin C, and then for Castletown Cosney, it was Jeff Butler, Isla Cox, Dan Stewart, and Sophie Python.
And the final game in that game, we did get the result in for this. It's Castletown Carrick 0, Bacchus Bucks 4.
Yeah, great win for Bacchus Bucks there, and 2 out of 3 in this league, Simon. I'll just put that one out. Ashley Sanford Sykes with 1, Miles Stevens with 1, and Cal Joyce with 2.
And moving on to the mixed under-15s league, we'll come to the 2 scores we didn't have in the classifieds rundown in a second. But first of all, Valkyries running out 11-1 winners over Ramsey in the early game.
Yeah, good win for Valkyries under 15s there. For Ramsey, it was Ollie Gamble. And then for Valkyries, deep breath, Reese Meyer with 3, Caleb Quayle with 2, Ryan Thomas with 2, Jacob Loader with 1, Poppy Kelly with 1, William Miller with 1, and Harry Lewis with 1.
And the first of the 2 later pushbacks, Castletown Sabres 2, Bacchus 7.
Yeah, good win for Bacchus there. For Castletown, it was Adam Eels and Chris Cropton Harvey. And then for Bacchus, it was Grace Evans with 1, Ollie Parting with 2. So both Mr. Parting's son and daughter have shown him how to score today. And Ryan Cartwright with 2, and Sev Leavely with 2.
And the final game, again, another late pushback in the mixed under-15s league. Sounds like a tight game as well at the NSC this afternoon. Vikings 3, Harlequins 2.
Yeah, good win there for Vikings. Theo Roberts with 1, and Henry Stewart with 2 for Vikings. And then for Harlequins, it was Ollie Barber and Ben Barber.
All right, Ben, thank you very much. That concludes this afternoon's hockey results. I know we gave you a bit of stick for all the results you got wrong in Division 1, but you did get, was it 9 out of 16? I think you said across the whole weekend's programme, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, 9 out of 16 this weekend, so really, I don't think that's too bad. I think, considering we're in holiday mode, so, but yeah, really, it's not been too bad this weekend, but If we've got time, Simon, we've got the cup, plate and bowl draws, if you would like to read them out on air.
Yes, I was just going to come to these. So these fixtures, am I right in saying these were drawn at the MHA board meeting that was held earlier this week? I think that's the details I've got here, Ben. Is that correct?
Yes, so the MHA board meeting was held in the week, and the draw for the cup, plate and bowl was done at the meeting. These fixtures will take place on the 5th of October. Venues and times are yet to be confirmed. So in the cup, we've got Vikings A against Backers B, Vikings B against Castletown Celts, and then the big one in the cup, we have a rematch of the final in the first round, and that's Valkyries A against Backers A, with Harlequins A getting a bye in the first round. In the plate, we've got Vikings D against Castletown Southerners, and then Vikings C against Backers C, with a bye for Valkyries C and Ramsey A. And then in the bowl, we've got Ramsey Ravens against Castletown Camags, Harlequins B against Vikings E, Valkyries D against Castletown Cushags, with Backers Colts getting the bye in the bowl.
Okay, Ben, thank you very much. And are you back on home soil next week? Are you out and about at a game next Saturday afternoon for Paul?
Yes, I will be returning back on Ireland next week, and I think I will be up north next weekend. So we'll confirm things with Rob in the week, and we'll let you know on Friday Sport.
All right, Ben, thank you very much. I'll let you get back to your weekend off now.
You're too kind. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Ben. Okay, 26 minutes away from 6 o'clock.
Manx Radio Sport.
And without further ado, let's head down to the bowl with FC Isle of Man looking to build on their midweek win following the last-minute disappointment against Bury at the bowl last weekend. And with team news is Rob Pritchard.
Yeah, thank you, Simon. Welcome to the bowl ahead of this latest NWCFL Premier Division test for FC Isle of Man at home to Cheadle Town, with kick-off in just over 25 minutes' time. We can bring you the teams for both sides. The starting 11 for the hosts, FC Isle of Man. In goal is number 1, Adam Killier. Then is number 2, Ronan McDonnell. Number 3, Jacob Crook. Number 4, Ryan Burns. Number 5, Alex Maitland. Number 6, Carl Watson. Number 7 and the captain, Steve Whitley. Number 8, Sam Baines. Number 9, Luke Booth. Number 10, Tom Creer. And number 11 is Daniel Gerrard. The substitutes for FC Isle of Man: number 12, Ryan Gartland. Number 14, Jack McVeigh. Number 15, Ben Wasser. Number 16, Harley Jackson. And number 17 is Tyler Hughes. And for the visitors, Cheadle Town. In goal is number 1, James Hodges. Then is number 2, Matthew Cook. Number 3, Matthew Smith. Number 4, Rain Davis. Number 5 and the captain, Benjamin Hampson. Number 6, Jack Taylor. Number 7, Caleb Parkinson. Number 8, Liam Delaney. Number 9, Daniel McLaughlin. Number 10, Carl Foley. And number 11 is Daniel Burns. The substitutes for Cheadle Town: number 12 is Oganero Onomare. Number 14, Harry Shipton. Number 15, Connor Martin. Number 16, Ryan Morton. And number 17 is Harrison Bickerton. The referee this evening is Peter Leonard, and his assistants are Sam Palmer and James Cherry. Well, for FC Isle of Man, tonight is an opportunity to extend what has been a real upturn of form going into September. They're currently unbeaten so far in this calendar month, with 2 wins and 2 draws, including what you mentioned just a few moments ago, Simon, that eye-catching 2-1 win away at Ramsbottom United on Tuesday night. Ramsbottom United actually started the week as the league leaders, and it was 2 newer faces to the FC Isle of Man setup that got the goals that night. Tom Creer and Luke Booth getting the decisive strikes on the board to give the Ravens maximum points in midweek, and Paul Jones has rewarded that further by seeing those 2 in the starting lineup today. Cheadle Town, meanwhile, they have failed to score in 4 of their last 5 outings in what has been a relatively frustrating run for Jake Davis's side so far this term. They are as well also the joint second lowest scorers in the division. They've only netted 8 league goals so far. However, if you look at the recent head-to-head record between these sides, Cheadle Town have proven, both home and away last season, that it's not just about how many goals you can score, but can you take those crucial chances. They beat FC Isle of Man home and away last season, and here at the bowl, it was a 95th minute winning header from Lee Knight that secured Cheadle Town all 3 points. How they would love to try and repeat that feat once again. For For FC Isle of Man, well, they could rise to as high as 8th in the table, depending on results around them today, with maximum points. It's been a fixture that has been nip and tuck. Only one goal has decided it between the sides in the last 2 outings. Will we see something similar today? We'll have to wait and see. Well, FC Isle of Man versus Cheadle Town kickoff is at 6 p.m, so around 24 minutes to go, and we'll be providing full live match commentary, myself and Tony Mepham, from 6 p.m. on Manx Radio DAB and AM 1368. An intriguing contest awaits. In the meantime, back to you, Simon.
Rob, thank you very much. Just before you go, just to look back on the last 7 days for the management team and the players of FC Isle of Man. Obviously disappointment in that last-minute equaliser last Saturday against Bury, but I suppose now the dust has settled, they've had time to reflect. 4 points out of 6 in the last 2 games has got to be, a real positive for Paul Jones and the rest of the side.
Well, I asked particularly about that Bury result, and of course Ben Hockenhull with that 95th minute equaliser, I should say, for Bury in that game. And speaking to the manager and speaking to Sean Dall, who's actually just stood not too far to the right of me here, he's not involved in the squad today. It all felt a bit raw afterwards. It felt frustrating that they'd gone from 3 points to 1, but maybe in the days to follow, they did say at the time, maybe they will start to see the positives of getting a result against one of the big hitters in the league. And that certainly showed when they went to Ramsbottom United on Tuesday night as well. It was a much changed FC Isle of Man side, much like it is this evening with a few regular faces still missing. They went there and really upset things over at Ramsbottom United, 2-1 winners, and not just the goals that Tom Creer and Luke Booth managed to get on the board, but also the goalkeeper Adam Killier, who's proving more reliable than ever at the moment for FC Isle of Man. He's picked up a number of Player of the Match awards so far this season. They may have to look to him again to put in a good performance should Cheadle Town get their own opportunities. But yes, for FC Isle of Man going forward, it will no doubt be a bit of a comfort to Paul Jones that some of those players who are stepping into the breach with a few of those big names unavailable, just to name a couple of them. Charlie Higgins and Callum Sherry are both serving suspensions, and then also just dealing with a few minor injuries are the likes of Sean Dall, Adam Adebayi and Dean Pinnington, some key faces in that FC Isle of Man squad, absent at the moment. But what's been apparent in the last couple of games is that some of those players coming into the fold have really started to step up, and they'll be hoping for more of that again tonight.
All right, Rob, thank you very much. I'll let you go and get a cup of tea and get ready for kick-off in about 22 minutes' time. Thanks very much, Rob. And thanks as well to Tony Mepham, Dave Christian and Ben Cunningham for their contributions this evening, as we've brought you a roundup of the football, rugby and hockey happening across the Isle of Man this afternoon. Rob Pritchard will be back in the chair next week between 4 and 6 with full-time and classifieds. And don't forget, if you've missed any of the programme, it will very shortly be available as a podcast at manxradio.com or wherever it is that you pick up your podcast from. In the meantime, ahead of that commentary from the Bowl with Rob Pritchard and Tony Mepham between FC Isle of Man and Cheadle Town, which is about 20 minutes away, we will hand back to our Radio Caroline North weekend, and Rob and Tony will be here ahead of kick-off at the Bowl. Good evening.